I know a lot of people read a lot of books,
Mm-hmm.
take courses, programs, listen to podcasts, um, and then walk away with, I don't want to say nothing in the end, but it almost feels like nothing. And I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. Um, I had taken courses, I had listened to programs, I listened to podcasts, and not everything got internalized unless I did the work, unless
Yeah.
I did something about it. And honestly, I would say that out of all the programs that I myself have taken, the law being was the one that really helped me to shift and change. But if I did it on my own without a coach, I probably would not have finished it. And that's the God's honest truth, that I probably would not have finished it. And I would imagine a lot of people would be the same way.
That's my experience. I never finished it because I was just doing it on my own, bringing myself through it, having that, yeah, I get it. Got it
Yeah.
now. Yeah, sure. And just really enjoying the CDs. Like I've listened to all the CDs, love the CDs, but the actual workbook, I'm like, oh yeah, we did this all in IPAC training. Like,
Yeah.
but every time I look through it when I'm working with someone new, I'm like, I need to do this. Like they'll be doing these like different, different parts of the workbook. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my what like this page, for example, trigger, my reaction, result, something as simple as that I recognize all of these things for myself, but it stays in my head. I don't actually write it down. And that's where really the application, it has to come out of the head to
Yes.
be applied.
Yes. And that's what we started talking about before we started recording. How there's some people, um, how there's a person in my life who has listened to the CDs, knows everything. I get it. I understand it. I don't need to do the workbook. I don't have time for it. It's not for me. Very resistant. And I'm just waiting for the day when this individual actually does the workbook, goes through it, and I will find a coach for this individual because it's best to be done with somebody else who is not so close. And then I would love to have a conversation at the end of that journey.
And I love, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Because going through it on your own, you've gone through IPAC, right? I know all these tools. I don't need to do this. I got this, right? I'm perfect. I'm good. But having gone through the law of being, and I've gone through the whole program, I can say that it has a lot, or I don't want to say a lot, it has quite a bit from what IPAC teaches.
Yeah.
But it's different. It's very personal. That's why it's called a self-mastery program, to unlocking your unlimited potential. I think in the very front. Yeah. Unagi. Friends, I'm gonna watch it. I started watching it again for the third time. But anyways, so it's a whole different approach to things, and I've gone through other programs where you're listening, and it has one or two exercises. And I do it, and I'd be done the program, and in the end, I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Right? So I end up walking away with nothing new. Right? Whereas after the law of being, and I've done like, I actually, for writing my About Me page, I was writing down all the programs I went through. I'm like, holy shit snacks. I'm not putting all of these there because people are not going to have time. So I'm just going to put categories so people kind of actually like see which categories I kind of, I went and I educated myself in. And I will say that the law of being it is a self-mastery program, because I've taken other ones that were similar, but they're not. Like, it doesn't even go half as deep as the law of being did for me.
And I guess that's, as I'm hearing you call it a self-mastery program, I'm realizing, oh, you and I had the internal drive to master ourselves. So it's just hitting me because while I understand we all uncover our journeys at our own paces and different times, it's never occurred to me that maybe people just straight up don't want to master themselves.
No.
Maybe they don't have that. Yeah, maybe they don't have that internal motivation.
I mean, for me, I want to master myself, and I've been wanting to do that for what, maybe 5 years ago is when I started this journey, and wanting to master myself is one thing. Doing something about it is another, and continuing to do something about it is another, because most people, and I was most people, when we start something new, when I started something new, and it would get a little bit challenging, I would do it a little bit more, and it becomes too challenging, even though nothing really is too challenging, right? What's the saying that God only gives us what we can handle, right? So, which means that we can handle it. We're just not believing in ourselves enough because of the gremlin's voice, or assumptions, or interpretations, right? Or even limiting beliefs. So there's quite a bit in there that can prevent us from going. But and then I would stop, and I would try to go a different way, a different direction, and a different direction, and a different direction. And I'm glad I did. But at the same time, I wish I just followed this one and then tried another and finished and gotten to the dead end, which I don't think would have been a dead end. And I would have kept going and going and trying in different things. And eventually I would have gotten there. Whatever there is, I think it's one of those things that when we get there, we know, but that their place will continue to move.
Yeah, it moves. You get there, and then there's the next phase, the next part of the journey.
Yeah.
It's cyclical. You just keep going and keep going over that threshold between because eventually there becomes the new normal, and the new normal becomes the new comfort zone. So there's always got to be that threshold that you cross outside of the comfort zone to continue the journey. Which is actually why I am sitting here looking at the law of being, thinking to myself, okay, I'm going through it again, because I feel that I have reached a place now where I'm comfortable in my journey, and it's time for me to grow again. And this, like, you can do it once a year and uncover new things about yourself.
Because the answers will be different. It will be a whole different experience. And that's why when I decided that I'm going to start the group coaching in January, the new year, new authentic you journey, it's not just for everyone. I'm going to be going through it myself. And Bethany, she's going to go through the law of being as well.
Yes, awesome. Way to go, Bethany.
And this actually will be her second time going around through the program, because she came across the program and I had taken her through it the first time, and without the coach's notes, which I mean, still did an awesome job. And now she's going to go through it again for the second time, because she said the same thing that you just said, that it's one of those things that would be great to go through once a year. It's kind of also like a reflection.
Yeah, it really is. It's like journaling with prompts that result in self-mastery. And thinking back to that it takes that inner motivation, that call to self-mastery. I'm thinking back of you know, that wasn't my motivation when I first hired a coach. I just wanted to go, honestly, I just wanted to go no contact with my ex and didn't know how to do it. And my coach was helping me with that. And as we were uncovering all these blocks and these patterns, that's when I started cluing into, wow, my energy affects my situation and the results I'm seeing in my life. So if I master my energy, if I master the art of responding to each and every situation and interaction versus reacting, I will achieve different results that are less stressful, more peaceful, more productive. And that's how the call to self-mastery began, was just that initial recognition of maybe the first couple of times where I showed up differently and responded versus reacting, and seeing, whoa, this changes the whole game. Like recognizing the reactions and recognizing what causes stress. Like, I didn't know that just being around other people could be stressful for me. If other people weren't energetically gentle or kind or patient or soft, or curious, I would, if people just naturally, or if their default is rushed or aggressive or anxious, I would absorb it all and therefore become stressed. So what it really helped working with the coach initially is just bringing awareness to, why am I getting stressed just being around people? And then, oh, because like XYZ, either they're gossiping. That was one of the early things actually I clued into, was how much being around people gossiping was affecting me. And once I clued into that, and I thought, okay, I have an opportunity now to say, this has nothing to do with me and I have nothing to add to this conversation. That well at first, just from experience, it triggers people to reflect. I don't need to be talking about, I don't need to be gossiping. But then I also clued into just how much gossip was around me, with the types of people that I was surrounding myself with. So just very early on, those types of signals of what was causing stress and what I could do about it, whether it's change my perception or change the situation or just voice a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, it really started to influence my own perception of myself, because I could see that if I'm acquiring all these tools, then really it's time for me to step up and lead by example, no matter what my designation is at work, my designation at home, as the little sister narrative, like, doesn't matter what roles everyone else has for me in their heads. It's time for me to just show up with as much anabolic energy as possible. And that's really exactly, or patience, presence, even just radical acceptance, like even being able to just smile while other people are gossiping, if it's not the time or place to say, I don't want to hear it, it has nothing to do with me. I could just simply smile, be in a kind of meditative state where I'm just watching humans being human and thinking to myself, oh, how beautiful, the humans humaning, as I'm some alien just like watching. But yeah, that's really the call to self-mastery wasn't this like thing that I knew. It wasn't the word self-mastery didn't mean anything to me until I started gradually uncovering all these things about myself that really can all be traced back to, was I reacting or responding? Mm-hmm. And how did I want to make that choice?
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of people don't think of personal development and personal growth as a self-mastery journey. Mm-hmm. But in all reality, It is. Because when we are working on ourselves, whether it's a small part of ourselves or the whole entire self, we are mastering that part, whether it's a small part or the whole self. For me, it was the whole self. I wanted to master myself in all the ways possible. My intuition, my manifestation powers, my energy, my thoughts, my body, my mind, my life, my business, everything. And am I there yet? No, I'm not. I will, I don't, like I said, that their place always moves. So am I there where I thought I was going to be 2 years ago? No. Why? Because I surpassed it.
Yeah.
Because I am past the point where I thought I would be, where I thought I would be today. And just thinking,
That's awesome.
right?
Yes.
Back then, I never thought it would be possible for me to wake up with no anxiety. And
Oh,
I haven't woken up with anxiety for God, I don't remember. I think it's been almost a year.
wow. Wow.
And for me, that's huge because my anxiety used to be so vicious to a point where I would be throwing up in the morning and
Oh.
sick and yeah. Um, so just even like going there for a second, I feel like I was just there and spent time in my past because time.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't like that place, but I love that I've gone through it
Yeah.
and I was there because the only way I would be able to talk about it is if I've been there and I've done that. Otherwise, just because somebody read a book does not mean that they've learned everything that the book taught them because the action was not taken. And I've read books, I've listened to books, and I've, like I said, taken courses. And if I didn't take the action afterwards, then I can't say that I've taken it
Mm. Yeah.
because it's like watching a movie and having my ears closed and not hearing what's going on because I'm just watching it, but I'm not really hearing it. That's kind of like half of it, right? But in hearing you talk about your journey, and you mentioned that you didn't take the whole law of being, you haven't gone through the whole program yourself. I'm curious as to what did you learn and what was your experience with the law of being as much as you have gone through it?
Yeah. So the reason that I ordered it in the first place for myself wasn't my motivation wasn't even to go through it myself. It was to learn how to put a program together. And so I just wanted to see how IPEC put a program together because I was thinking I want to build 8 to 12-week courses. This is a 16-week course. So going into it, my motivation wasn't even to receive the benefits. So then I didn't start doing it until I had my first Law of Being client. And then I was like, and then I wanted to hear what she was hearing. I wanted to feel what she was feeling. And then so then I would start doing the workbook. And at first it was kind of similar to what we did in IPEC training. Like a lot of the questions, like the role, like true self shines, true self hides, like that kind of stuff we do in IPEC training. So I think that's why I was like, I don't really need to do it. Or I just did this. But now looking back, so I'm looking back at page 14. So week 1, who has influenced you the most? There's these columns, your influential people. What is unique about this person? How has this person influenced who you are today? I'm realizing how much changes in a year. And so already having journaled a lot, I'm a big time journaler. I already realize how much can change year to year. Looking back at old journals, I'm like, look at what this girl had going on. Geez, send her some love to my past self. But now looking at these questions, like the people I consider influential has completely changed year to year. And so I think, yeah, the first time what I got out of it was just, I think, confidence that I could build a course, and that I know what I'm talking about. And also the awareness that of the prompts and how deeply meaningful they are, and that not many people give ourselves the opportunity to spend time with a prompt like that, like really going deep about like even the question, how open are you to new possibilities? When you're going through this kind of program, I like to take, when I'm going to sit and answer prompts, I like to take anywhere from 45 minutes to like 2 hours to really sit. So even that, like, how open are you to new possibilities? I mean, now I'm open to all possibilities, but there was a time when I had to reflect and realize that I had a lot of anxiety. I was a creature of my comfort zone. I went to work, I would drink wine afterwards, and then who knows? Who knows what would happen? I would have some kind of wild time. But yeah, so yeah, I think my first experience, yeah, it just wasn't for myself. Any experience I've had with it wasn't for myself. It was either through the lens of how can I help my clients, or through the lens of how can I create my own weekly program. Oh shoot, I just realized I'm late for 12 o'clock.
Oh.
I'll see if
That's what the love being does, eh? It gets you wheel right in there. Well,
too good of a time, because we're talking about our passion. We love this stuff. So if I didn't have a 12 o'clock, I would want to go on all day about it. Okay, cool. Seems like people are running late. Whoops. Well, I mean, I know I just said I have to run, but it reminds me of something that you were saying earlier about the person in your life who says, oh, I don't have time. That says a lot about that person's perception, because so everything, like, we as coaches can hear based on people's stories, what they're telling us, where their perception is. So I think it's in this paradigm. Okay, so it's page 98, paradigm and possibilities, time. So here are the 7 energetic viewpoints on perspectives on time. Level 1, time is continually working against me. I am at time's mercy. Level 2, time is something that I continually fight against, not only to get all I have to done, but also to avoid the inevitability of death as long as possible. So also time and money, both, there are some specific perceptions and energetic levels associated with money as well. So when you hear that at level 2, also to avoid the inevitability of death as long as possible, and you think at level 2, the perception of money is greed. So that actually gives me a lot of compassion for people with level 2, like greed, people who hoard money, and we call greedy. Money is their way to avoid death. So what they're really afraid of is death. So it just helps understanding different perceptions. Level 3, time is a natural part of life, and although it's limited, I can and will develop effective strategies to manage it. Level 4, there are so many ways I can contribute, and I want to use my time to make sure I make the greatest contribution in the time I have. Level 5, the way I use my time is totally up to me. I can relax and do nothing, or I can create or do something exciting. It's completely my choice. Time is a gift. And level 6, this is about where we are when we get into these conversations. Time stands still for me whenever I'm completely focused on the experience of life. There is an eternity of time, as this moment is endless. And then level 7, time is a linear illusion created in the human experience to measure what appears to be a limited life. So that's why when I'm talking with you, I lose track of time.
So do I. I mean, I don't even look at the time. I'm just like, okay, I love that. I love that.
I just start getting texts on my phone, and then I'm like, I know. Oh, 12:12. Okay. I should hop out. I'll hop out at the 12:12 portal. Well, thank you so much. What's that?
Thank you for sharing your journey with the law of being, and for being honest. Because I know some people might not feel comfortable being honest, saying that they haven't finished and done the whole program for themselves. And honestly, I love that. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. And I'm thinking of using it as a springboard to actually do it. Like, so much has changed in my life in the past year. So, I mean, no time like the present to go back. Like, you saw me reading these questions, like, whoa, all right. I'll get back to that.
And I was responding in my head and trying to remember my response before. I can't remember the question that you asked. If I see, I can't remember the question that you asked, if something along the lines that if I can't remember, if I see the opportunities or something like that.
How open are you to new possibilities?
Yeah, and I remember that I answered, I'm very open. And then thinking back, I'm like, no, you weren't.
Right.
No, I was lying to myself because I didn't even understand. I thought I was open. And I mean, I was, but at the same time, not really. Right? Still holding back.
Well, again, there changes. Your openness at the time was enough to move you through that threshold to grow, and so you've grown, and now there's going to be a new threshold for being open to new experiences, and it's going to grow and grow cyclically every time you come back around.
Yeah, thanks. Now my heart is pumping. I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, and now's the time, like going into winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, you go and enjoy your party.
Party.
I'm gonna call it a party. Once again, thank you. And I look forward to our next week call.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna do the first week of Law of Being, so I'll have more to talk about in terms of my experience with it.
That would be interesting.
If anyone wants to join us and do it along with me, hit up either one of us, and we can, we have access to it, obviously, so we can order a booklet for you, and yeah, so let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Until next week.
Until next week. Bye.
Bye.
Much love, sister.
Much love.